Hello! The UEFA Champions League group stage is officially over. Maybe some groups went as expected, but there were so many twists and turns. Atletico Madrid's group being the biggest example. That's why I decided to rep them today, to wish them farewell. But today I'm going to be reacting to my group stage predictions that I made when the groups were announced. I will be streaming the draw on Monday, by the way, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Let's try to hit 2,500 likes. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with Group A, already a very difficult group to decipher. We've got Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli, and Rangers. Now, the favorites on paper in this group are obviously Liverpool. However, at the time of this recording, their form has not been up to par. This group is supposed to be doable for Liverpool, but I'm not gonna lie, I do fear for them. Napoli's attack is looking very dangerous now, and both underdogs in this group already proved themselves in European competitions. There's also loads of talk of how Klopp always has a 7th-year curse at every club he manages for. This is his 7th year at Liverpool. Maybe he will get grouped. I'm going to play it safe, though, and say they don't. I will go with Liverpool topping the group. And for second, it's tough. I feel criminal putting any of these teams at 4th. I truly do. I'm going to go Napoli 2nd, Rangers 3rd, and Ajax 4th. I feel terrible doing that to Ajax. This is such an incredible club. But something tells me Rangers will be able to pull off some great results at home. Okay, at least I got who was advancing correct. I can't beat myself up too much about Napoli and Liverpool's order because they shared the same amount of points at the end. And so many people did not expect Napoli to have the season that they're having at the moment. They just picked up their first loss of the season to Liverpool. And even losing to them, they still finished above them in this group. Bravo, Napoli. I'm glad I predicted them to still pull through because I saw a decent amount of comments saying that they won't even make it out alive. People still believed in Ajax to pull through because they have a lot of UCL success, and I doubted them way more than I should have, obviously. And it wasn't me even trying to doubt Ajax. I knew they wouldn't be as electric as previous UCL campaigns, but I didn't think Rangers would blow it this much. They have just set the record as the worst ever Champions League team. And I don't mean even disrespect the club. It's just true. They conceded 22 goals and only scored 2. Not only did they lose to every single team in this group twice, but every single team in this group demolished them at least once. I thought after Rangers' amazing Europa League run, they could at least put off some good fights in this and maybe sneak into 3rd. But obviously, it was not even close. Shout out to Ajax for proving me wrong. Now they'll be in the Europa League, so at least they still have some European football going for them. They can definitely have a deep run there, despite them losing their manager and also a decent amount of players. They still have a fantastic squad that nobody should be writing off. Moving on to Group B with Porto, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, and Club Brugge. Another very difficult group to figure out. A lot's possible here. Atletico do look like the favorites in this. I'm going to put them at 1st. Although their form might not be at its best at the moment, Diego Simeone knows what he's doing in the European competitions. It just feels too odd for me to see this club get grouped, especially under his management. I'm going to say Porto can sneak out of this group. I think they have what it takes. They have the quality. They can score the goals. Atletico Madrid might be an issue for them, but I think they can handle the other teams. I'll say they get 2nd. And I didn't even touch on Club Brugge. They actually had a fantastic transfer window. Yes, they did just lose De Ketelaere to AC Milan, but they just picked up a Barcelona Academy player, Ferran Jutkla. The center forward is having a phenomenal start so far. We'll see if he can keep up the form. They also got 2 key Canadians, Tajon Buchanan and now Kyle Larin. The Dutch winger Noah Lang impressed so many people last year, and Hans Van Aken is such a lethal midfielder to have. I really wouldn't be surprised if Club Brugge can even sneak into 2nd instead of Porto, but I'm going to say they don't. They finished 3rd place. I do think they will have some solid moments. They got really unlucky in their draw last time around where they were in a group with PSG, Manchester City, and RB Leipzig. They looked outmatched. This group is very doable for them. 2nd place is a realistic go, but I'm going to say 3rd place. They go to Europa League. Bayer Leverkusen don't pick up the form enough. They finished 4th. I'm actually so upset about this prediction, not even because of how much Atletico let me down, but because I had such a good feeling about Club Brugge, but I was too scared to put them in the knockout spots. I was just like, there's no way Atletico is going to go down, yet they finished 4th, and I still had a feeling Porto would squeeze through. Well, it ended up being Porto and Club Brugge, obviously. Club Brugge were fantastic. The best start in the UCL. They were top for a while. They kind of let their guard down at the end, losing to Porto 4-0, but they beat Porto earlier 4-0. This is a side you're not going to want to mess with in the knockouts. So although they don't look like a strong team, I would still be afraid for any other club to come up against them. Very curious to see how far they can go in this UCL campaign. As for Atletico, Sramota. Atletico have such a rich history in the Champions League. Well, not winning it, but still going decently far. When I saw them drawn in this group, I just thought, There was no way they were going to bottle this. It got to the point where it was like, okay, they're probably going to be in Europa League. But then they bottled that as well in the final match day, losing to Porto, giving Leverkusen that spot instead. Unbelievable. Diego Simeone has a lot of history with this club, obviously, and his tactics have proved to work for them in the past. But this is a serious talking point now. Is his time up? None of these sides you should write off. I'm well aware of that. But there is just no excuse for Atletico Madrid to get 4th place. Oh, and that matchup against Leverkusen was just absolutely hilarious. The way Yannick Carrasco missed the penalty and then was the one to block it at the end. It's just absolutely incredible how they bottled this. And you know what? Despite getting Atletico way off, I still got the rest of the order right. It's okay. What a story Group B was. Let's move on to Group C. The group of death where Barcelona and Bayern Munich meet once again. They're also going to have to both face Inter Milan and a very underrated Czech side, Victoria Plzeň. As amazing of a side as they are, they're going to finish 4th place. Now for the rest. I'm seeing some people are expecting Barcelona to potentially go back to Europa League, but at the same time, how are you going to doubt all those amazing transfers they just secured? They had one of the best transfer windows this season. Although it's going to be a challenge for all of these teams, I still think Bayern Munich won't be losing their confidence. Such an elite club. The unity and class is insane. I'm saying they're able to keep first. I think they will be able to beat Barcelona head-to-head still, but not by as many goals like 8-2, for example. Inter Milan is one of the most complete clubs, let's be honest, and with Romelu Lukaku back, he's going to be motivated to score the goals. However, Inter Milan do not have the best luck in the Champions League in recent times. I'm saying they get grouped to 3rd place, go to the Europa League. Barcelona have just had too insane of a transfer window to make me convinced that they won't be embarrassed by Bayern and to just squeeze through to the knockouts. What a terrible call. This is really not going well. Inter have not had good luck in the Champions League. That was a fact, but they very much deservingly finished above Barcelona. Obviously, I knew there was a chance Inter could squeeze through, but this was absolutely embarrassing. You signed Lewandowski, Kessié, Christensen, Koundé, Rafinha. Everyone believed in Xavi. I knew Barcelona were probably not going to be able to top Bayern, obviously. Bayern are just always kings in their group stage. They went 6 for 6. Shout out to them. But massive props to Inter Milan for proving me wrong, especially with their shaky start to the Serie A, but sometimes still didn't handle the pressure well. They genuinely should have beaten Barcelona in that second matchup, after blowing some terrible opportunities at the end when Barcelona's defense looked absolutely drained. Now for Group D, let's be real for a second. No offense to these other clubs, but I think Tottenham got blessed, as they're with Frankfurt, Sporting, and Marseille. If they don't get first, that would be a genuine embarrassment for the club. And I mean, who knows? It is possible. Tottenham did get grouped in the Conference League last year. Can't forget about that. But I think they have significantly improved since then. So I think it's safe to say they will get first in this group. Now for the rest, I'm not going to lie, I do worry about Frankfurt. Yes, they have loads of underrated players from all over the world, but they just lost one of their best players, Filip Kostic, who has just transferred to Juventus, and the Austrian center back Hinteregger has just retired. Yes, there were other components to them to winning the Europa League, but I do think this side could potentially get outclassed in this tournament. Marseille, out of those pot 4 teams, was probably the most difficult one out of the bunch. Great looking side on paper, so I'm assuming most people will be predicting them to get 2nd place. But I also don't want to rule out Sporting necessarily. They have so many exciting youngsters that are really proving their worth. For example, Pedro Gonçalves has been in amazing form. I'm going to be bold and say that Sporting can clinch 2nd, Marseille 3rd, and Frankfurt 4th. This was the best group in the Champions League because it all broke down to that final match day. Sporting were in 2nd place before that final match day. Sporting had such a strong start as well. It's a bit of a heartbreak, but the fact that this was all so thrilling made it okay. But you know what? I watched that last matchup of Tottenham versus Marseille, and holy crap, did Tottenham get lucky. Recently, they've been really relying on scoring in the dying minutes. We saw sometimes it works out for them, and sometimes it doesn't. This time it very much did with the Højbjerg banger. But Marseille had so many opportunities. If they were just more clinical, they could have easily beaten them. I think they were by far the better team in the first half. Tottenham looked hopeless. I was genuinely surprised Tottenham were able to do it in the second. It's incredible how much of a great fight they put, yet still finished 4th in this group. And shout out to Frankfurt for proving me wrong. They had a terrible start, so it looked like I was going to be right, and then they just absolutely bounced back. But holy shit, I am 0-4 at the moment. Now for Group E, the group I am most nervous about: AC Milan, Chelsea, RB Salzburg, and Dinamo Zagreb. This is a group where an upset is definitely possible. I wouldn't be surprised if either Chelsea or Milan slip to the Europa League position. Call me biased, but I could even see Dinamo beating one of them at home. I'm going to say Chelsea sort themselves out for this massive tournament. They grabbed first place. Do I want to go for that upset, though? I want to be so hopeful for Dinamo Zagreb. But I gotta say, if I think one team will come out of this with an upset, it will be RB Salzburg. No, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I gotta play it safe. I'm gonna say AC Milan gets second, RB Salzburg third, Dinamo Zagreb fourth, Dinamo Slushaj mene. Obviously, you can easily prove me wrong. I think we will have a great start, actually. Potentially getting a solid win at home against one of the big teams. But then we will start to crumble towards the end. Similar to how it was in 2019, after I was very hopeful when we beat Atalanta at Maksimir. Let's go! Finally, one right. Although, I'm very upset it had to end this way for Dinamo. And even though I went safe going for the favorites in this group, I gotta give myself credit for predicting how it would end for Dinamo. I knew this was gonna happen. I knew that they would be able to upset one of those big teams at the beginning. Everyone was going to get hope, and then it would just be back-to-back disappointments, finishing last place, failing to grab a single win after that upset against Chelsea. And once I saw the actual fixtures and saw it was going to be Chelsea, Dinamo would play first, I was confident. Was hopeful that we could make Europa League at the end, but Salzburg were able to beat us as well. Milan destroyed us both times we faced them. At the end of the day, I'm obviously not happy I nailed that prediction for Dinamo, but it's also a bit relieving that I finally called something right. Now for Group F, many are saying Real Madrid got very lucky in this draw as they were paired with RB Leipzig, Shakhtar, and Celtic. Let's be realistic here right off the bat. Real Madrid should be topping this group. RB Leipzig, I'm going to say, are in second. But at the same time, who knows? Rangers did beat this side in the semifinals of the Europa League last year. And now they're being paired with another Scottish team who did better than Rangers in their domestic league, where they actually won the league. Celtic are definitely going to be an interesting team in this Champions League run. We could see the captain Callum McGregor leading his team to glory. Maybe he could pull a win or a draw against Leipzig, but I still think they will struggle for the majority of the time. Topping Shakhtar, though, finishing third. The reason why I'm putting Shakhtar so low is because they lost a lot of their international players. As we all know, they love to acquire a lot of Brazilians, but many of them left for obvious reasons. There's still some great domestic talents like Mudryk, which a lot of major clubs are actually scouting, but Shakhtar were desperate to keep him as they don't really have many other options. But still, this is very much not the strongest Shakhtar side I have seen, so I'm going to say they are disappointed this Champions League run and get fourth place. Why did I have belief in the Scottish clubs to make it to the Europa League? Celtic weren't as bad as Rangers. They were actually able to pick up 2 points, but still, their losses were pretty hefty. I guess, like I said, I just didn't have hope in Shakhtar since they got rid of so many international players, and although they didn't qualify for the next round in the Champions League, they were actually pretty impressive throughout, apart from that last match day against Leipzig. I'm not talking about that. But they put off fantastic fights. They genuinely should have beaten Real Madrid in the match where they drew. They were just not clinical enough at easy moments. The match against Celtic was the best example. At least I got first and second place right. Just mixed up who would qualify for the Europa League, so can't beat myself up too much, but I wish I didn't doubt Shakhtar all that much as well. Now for Group G, Manchester City, Sevilla, Borussia Dortmund, and Copenhagen. Manchester City are easy favorites in this group. I'm going to say that Borussia Dortmund can clinch second. Sevilla, despite having some very solid players like Acuna, Ivan Rakitic, I believe that losing Koundé might be an impact for the club, and they will fall short to third place in the European competition that everybody memes that they just love, as they have so much success there. So best of luck to Sevilla in the Europa League if that does happen. Boom, another one right. No surprises here, though. Man City, obvious favorites. Copenhagen, obvious underdogs. Sevilla were really struggling at the beginning of the season, so it was hard to count on them. I'll take it, obviously. At least we have another safety point for 2 right, but we only got 1 group left. And I already know that it didn't end well here for me. Finally, Group H with PSG, Juventus, Benfica, and Maccabi Haifa. PSG first. Juventus second. I don't want to sleep on Benfica. They are a fantastic side, but losing Darwin Núñez could be crucial, although they are still scoring loads of goals. I still think in this very tough group, it will be too tough for them. Yes, they did impress last time where they topped Barcelona in a group with them and Bayern Munich, but Barcelona were really struggling at that moment of time. Both PSG and Juventus are looking like they have really improved ever since last year as well, so I don't see it happening. I'm sorry, Benfica. Best of luck, though. Benfica third. Maccabi Haifa, I don't see them doing anything in this group. I'm saying they finish 4th. Holy crap, Benfica. Incredible. Not only did they prove me wrong on my 3rd place pick, they topped the group at the last match day. They wanted it so bad. They got a massive win against Maccabi Haifa, putting them in front of PSG. It's actually incredible that they went neck and neck with this side throughout the entire group stage run, sharing the same amount of points the whole time. Now, this is the prediction I'm actually most disappointed in myself in. I gave the laziest answer as to why I think Juventus will top Benfica. I still believed in them despite Allegri's terrible management. The fall of Juventus, I thought it would be somewhat revived. I thought they would at least make it to the knockouts. Losing Darwin Núñez could be crucial. If anything, Benfica are looking so much better than last year. At the time of this recording, they are still undefeated in every competition this season. And they have had some incredible scorelines going their way. Benfica had a very solid run in the Champions League last time around, but I feel like this side has all the reason to be confident to have an even deeper run potentially. I don't even want to consider them an underdog because at the moment they're playing some of the best football in Europe. But they could be that quote-unquote dark horse pick that makes it very far in this Champions League run. It might be a stretch, but if they keep this up, they definitely have what it takes to make it to the final. I don't want to jinx you guys though. I really rate this side. Honestly, a lot of people actually called Benfica to make it to the next round and Juventus to slip. I was the fool that still believed in Juventus. But at least everybody else got it wrong as well. Benfica topping the group. Many people did not expect that. Many people still thought it would be PSG. So in summary from these predictions, I got 2 out of 8 groups completely right. But then out of actually getting right which of the sides will qualify to the next Champions League round, I got 4 out of 8 groups correct. Hey, you know what? I love the upsets though. That's what makes football so great. If this were all 100% predictable, that would be boring. But yeah, just use this video as reference if you're not happy with my future predictions. Just go back to this to make yourself feel better if you think I'm absolutely crazy predicting against your team. Hey, I'm not going to give up though. I will still be doing the round of 16 predictions and advancing on through the tournament as it goes on. And like I said, I'll be doing a stream for the draw, which is happening on Monday. So don't forget to stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you enjoyed. Appreciate you all making it to the end. Let me know how you guys did in the comments. I'm sure a lot of you did better than me. Anyways, I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. Lá com nós.